Hi, I'm Genevieve Lowry and welcome to today's DIY. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is a disease of the brain that happens usually to older people. We all forget things sometimes, but the difference is that Alzheimer's makes it impossible for people to make decisions on their own, be able to live or remember things without having some sort of assistance and help. So I want to talk a little bit about if you have a loved one in your family who has Alzheimer's or dementia, how you might talk to your children in your family about that. So what we do know is that the brain is like the computer of the body, and it sends messages all over. That's how we know when we touch a hot stove to pull our hand away, or it helps us to remember that we like chocolate cake but not Brussels sprouts. It helps us remember the dates that people were born and their birthdays and the names of those we love. But sometimes as we get older, or in a person who has Alzheimer's or dementia, those messages aren't getting sent in the way that they're supposed to. So if we think about the brain like a computer, and the computer is what sends all those messages out, and the messages are sent throughout the body through neurons. Now, I made these neurons, and these neurons are from a website that I got that I will put in the bottom link of on the video. And this is the nucleus, these are the dendrites, this is the axon, and this is the synapse. And the way that neurons work is that a message comes in from the brain or from another part of the body into the dendrites, and it goes down through the axon to the synapse, and then connects with another neuron. And then that functions almost like a chain of neurons that send the message to pull your hand away from a hot stove, or that helps you remember, oh, today is Johnny's birthday. Another way to think about this is that when a person has Alzheimer's or dementia, these axons are getting covered in something that's making it impossible for the messages to send. It slows down the process to the point where eventually the brain doesn't have any other ways for that message to get someplace, and that's where those things are getting lost. And that's why when someone can't remember something. So another way to think about that is to think about the message like a train on a train track. So our messages go from the station, which is the brain, and they go out to the rest of the body, and they carry that message in the little train car. But what happens if that message gets a little blocked? And I'm going to use what I have here is kinesthetic sand, but you could really use just about anything. I like kinesthetic sand because it's not super messy. So if that gets blocked, now maybe in the beginning, it's only blocked with a little bit, right? And the train can work its way through to get to the other side and to carry that message. But over time, it might get blocked with so much that the message can't get through. So maybe the brain finds another way, another synapsis, another neuron rather, to connect to, and finds a different way to carry that message. It might take a little bit longer. Hence, sometimes you find when you're talking to your grandma and grandpa who has dementia or Alzheimer's, it's hard for them to remember words right away. So sometimes they think of a different word, or they finally do get to the word that they were looking for, but maybe it took a little bit longer to get there because the fastest route was blocked and they needed to find a different way to go. But even eventually, as the disease progresses over time, even those other pathways will start to develop blocks so that the message can't get through the way it would normally go, and it starts to block even the new passages and the new ways that it would go. So that's sort of one way to help children better understand, by using the analogy of the train or by making neurons out of beads, can help your children better understand why the people that they love aren't remembering their names, or maybe don't remember their birthday, or asking the same question over and over again every time they see them. But some ways that you might think about helping your child with that is Make a photo album together of all the pictures of the people in your family. Label those pictures. Have the child and that loved one go over that book together, pointing out who people are and saying their names. Going for walks, because physical activity can really help somebody with that sort of helping them better keep themselves present in moments. And while they're out walking, really focus on the weather, what it feels like, what are they seeing, what are the sounds that they're hearing. The more senses and the more sensory experiences, we can keep somebody grounded in the present. Also, when grandma or grandpa asks their name over and over again, or asks them to repeat a story that they've already heard before, try and validate that for your children, that can be frustrating, but to just really go along with it and tell the story again, because it's in those moments when that person feels cared for and loved, and that's really the message that you want. We know that when someone, and encourage your children to understand that when that person does forget their name or forget an important date, it's not because they don't love them. We carry that feeling of love in our hearts with us, and so that feeling of love is always going to still be there, even when they don't remember something important. So I hope this is helpful to you, and I hope that this helps you find different ways to explain Alzheimer's or dementia to your children. And thank you for coming to today's DIY on Alzheimer's.